Hello. I have a few minutes or a little bit of time, and I thought since I haven't done a live call for a while, I thought I would just get on and do this for you guys and have a bit of a chat and then see if this works as a way of doing it. I've had so much to do that I just haven't been able to find the time to set up a live call and have people meet and choreograph all of that. So in the interest of self-care, I've left it. But I keep getting emails from people who are doing the courses and are asking questions and things like that. So I thought I'd pull a few of them together and answer them here. And then specifically today, I've actually just come off a short call with a friend who has just had a really traumatic time being in hospital and like extremely, extremely unwell, and has come out and not got great brain function and motor coordination and things like that now, mostly I think from trauma and the body having been in a prolonged shock and, a fairly dire situation for a long time. And so just sort of, I really felt like talking about that, to be honest, because it was so important, and we had on probably about 26 minutes, I think, all up. And they were familiar enough with the work. And then because they weren't happy, they were wanting to jump in and get a lot done so we can fix this straight away. So it was, in the method that we do here, it isn't a matter of applying something, it's a matter of listening and seeing what the body can handle. So I said, have you tried the ball? And he said, yes, but my feet really didn't like it. And I'm like, good, I'm really not surprised. It would be too strong when your body's in that extreme state where it's just so immobilized from fear and doesn't know how to get out of that. And so pushing on the ball and trying to bring yourself into a really good space is too much. So where we talked for a bit, and because there was an urgency, I said, look, let's just do a hand point and see. So we did that. And then that was too much. But then that allowed a bit of talking and a bit of sharing and a bit of discourse around what was actually happening and what the person was feeling. And so then after that, it was then appropriate to do a little bit more. So we ended up doing a count of 10 for each finger, just on this pinky, each point on the one finger. And even a count of 10 was too much, whereas, 4 months ago, this person was more than capable of taking that level of stimulation in. And so I'm just sharing this because the work's delicate and it's to be, you attend to the situation. It's not an application in the same way. Because we went slow and we didn't push, at the end of it, he felt different and he had an awareness of himself as feeling different and then feeling a bit more competent. And that's a lot. And so then we don't jump on it. I'm like, fine, I'll try and see you next week. Just for another 20-minute, 30-minute call, just so that they can ease into this, open a little bit of space, let the body start to feel safe, let the body see what it can have next. And then we move forward again. And I don't know what will happen for next week, but he looked brighter and he looked more connected to himself. So it's the subtlest of work. And I just really felt like sharing that. So I've got 4 things to go through from people that have written into me. So I'm just going to read them out. I'll stick them up when I do this properly so you can see. So hi, Holly, I hope you can help. I'm autistic and a therapist supporting neurodiverse adopted children and their parents. I'm also a wheelchair user. Will I be able to complete this training as I am not very mobile and work virtually with my families? I am a polyvagal theory trained. I am polyvagal theory trained, but need to check about not being mobile. So I thought this was a really cool question. And the beauty of this work is that you just keep adapting it to what people need. So realistically, at a very basic level, yeah, and I have replied to this person, by the way, but I'm just sharing this and expanding on this a little bit. I work online most of the time, so if I was in a wheelchair or not is of no consequence. I can understand the work. There may be ways, if I haven't appreciated the ball exercise, that I don't understand what that is, but if I understand the premise of the work, and have tinkered around with the hand points and understand the premise of it all, which takes its own amount of time, then it's neither here nor there whether you're in a wheelchair to do this work. And my and is, if you're in a wheelchair, you have a whole lot of distinctions around your body and awareness and inhibition, being inhibited in ways, and you can have a great deal of empathy for other people and what they've been going through. So you have distinctions upon distinctions, which are then going to inform you very well for being of use to people. So, and again, even not being able to do the ball is its own distinction. So I don't see it as as an inhibitor to learning the work at all. Quite the reverse, really. I don't think I've got anything more to say to that. I just think it's really important. You don't have to be working, even if you're working in person with people, you're not really, if you were doing the hand points with them, you might not be able to get down on the floor if they're lying down doing the ball. Oh, well, they can be lying on a couch. And you can do their hand points that way. Or, quite often we're not really touching people anyway at all. So you just adapt. Art's adapting, A.R.T. And in the same way this is. And I would be really interested to see how that person went. So please email me if you have started practicing and if you've done the course. Thank you. Hoping this is useful. So, brain loss, is art still applicable? Hi, Holly. I'm an early years preschool teacher working with neurodivergent children aged between 4 and 5. I'm also a parent of a 35-year-old son with a disability suffering from extreme anxiety. He presents with ASD traits. He has a frontal lobe brain damage from a brain hemorrhage several days after birth and other health-related problems. Is art still applicable? Will it help? So, my short answer is yes, I think it would. And I think that because, well, I see a lot of people who've had birth trauma in one way or another. And so often I find, and so this isn't a strict rule, it's just I find it, the people I work with who've got very chronic systems, very shut down systems that take quite a long time to warm up and come to be able to move out of that immobilized state. It can take quite some time. Very often they've had a great deal of birth trauma. So, we say autisms. There's a big spectrum of what that is, and how we feel like labeling that is on any given day a useful thing to discuss. But just in this way, I find that birth trauma goes hand in hand with highly, highly immobilized autistics. And then there's so much that you can do to reinform the system, because it's learned to be in lockdown. It's highly sensitive and it's highly protective. And so what you do is you teach it to slowly but surely feel safe, to emerge, to tolerate sensation, to reinform what it's like to be in the body. When people have had brain damage, I've worked with a number of people now, and all I think from all of that work, and I've had people that have had parts of their brain removed. The brain's really adaptive, so it will adapt. if there's things that have gone wrong or things that have been removed or. And also what I think the most is in those occasions, the body is in trauma. And so it goes into an immobilized state and it dislocates access to the brain. It can only help, in my opinion, if we're nice and kind and gentle and do this properly, to get the system better aligned and allow the brain and body to have greater access to themselves. And I see this all the time, whether I'm working with, a 40-year-old, as I sometimes talk about, a 40-year-old woman who had a thalidomide as a baby, and she's come along amazingly. So you just have to go really gently. You just have to not tripwire the system. Give it a little bit, it'll make sense. Give it a little bit, it'll make sense. And slowly but surely this, again, the person emerges or the octopus emerges or whichever metaphor we feel like on any given day, but it's in there. So, pardon me. I'm an occupational therapist working in a forensic unit on a ward for adults with autism and LD, which I assume is learning disabilities. I was just wondering if the exercises from your course require physical touch from the facilitator or can be done sitting or standing and guided rather than hands-on contact. Our unit has a non-touch policy apart from medical reasons and restraint, and touch in this context would be seen as a problem with safety and boundaries. If, however, a lot of intervention could be carried out by the individual and guided, then this could be implemented. In reality, there is not a great deal of psychological environmental safety where we are, although the garden is a bit of a refuge alongside bedrooms, which we would not be entering. So I'm not sure if this is practical on that level as well, although this is the case for all input, intervention and therapy. So I thought this was a really useful and interesting question to share. I've replied to this person, and one of the main things that I said was, while we're trying to bring the body into a state of stillness, that can be a really long-term goal or a fleeting goal or a loose goal. Not so much elusive as loose, in the sense that we're not trying to be zen and om and proper and going into meditative state. People can't do that. If they could do it, they'd do it. So while that emerges, that becomes apparent at points, people will get extremely still. They will get extremely connected to themselves. We don't have to embark on that as an overlay when we're starting working with people. And so it's much easier. And what I said to this person is, don't try and be too zen. Like I said at the beginning of this talk, you can do a count of 5 or 10. The body will still register whether it's good or bad. It will register whether it hates it or not. Leave it alone. You can ask the person to hold it for themselves. Often I do. I'm working on Zoom. You connect with them enough that there's enough meaning. You can model it first. You can model it on yourself or on someone else so they understand, and then leave them alone till they make a decision to want to do it. And then slowly but surely, in a safe, very non-threatening way, teach them what it might afford them. Having a quiet space is useful. You don't always get it. Having a very private space is useful. You don't always get it. One of my favorite times that I ever did hand points with someone, I was doing it for them, but we sat on a couch and this person just told me all her macabre Japanese stories of people getting beheaded and all sorts of things. And it was really funny because that's where she was comfortable. And I thought it was hilarious, but her body still changed. She still noticed things. She still would go, oh, that one's different to that one. That one's different to that one. It probably wouldn't have made a lot of difference if she was doing it for herself or not. If people find it hard, you just don't do it for long. And then you go, can you do it for a bit longer? And you just tinker with it. So, yes, I think the beauty of this work you know, and you understand this more from doing the course. But the beauty of this work is that it's subtle enough and it doesn't impose, and it allows the sanctity and the sanctuary for the person, that the sophistication of their system is front and center. And I think we do that the wrong way around most of the time. Last one. Hi, Holly, I'm doing module 5 of your Express course and had an aha moment that I need to discuss with you. My son used to want to put our feet on his tummy while he laid in front of us on the floor. He used to look very relaxed when he did this for him, but sometimes got a hard-on, an erection, so we thought we should discourage it as it seemed socially inappropriate. So now I'm wondering if he was trying to engage his parasympathetic nervous system by doing it. Should I go back to doing this for him? I'm sure that he would accept it. Weirdly, another friend of mine had the same thing with his son on the spectrum. So I answered this, and I actually am not sure I answered it very well. So I'm glad we're revisiting this, and I will send this to the person. It's not that I don't think I read it appropriately in terms of the feet on the tummy. In general, and this was my reply, in general, I really like people having a rug over them for privacy, and then in particular for males, just so that if anything like that happens, they're just not visible, and it's their own space, because you can't account for what the body might be doing. And so the work's not trying to elicit any of that. But yes, I think whenever in a very strict state of parasympathetic and sympathetic, there's always these, ways that it has its own choreography. And so you can be stimulating things like that. You keep an eye out for it. You try not to, you step back if you do, and as this person's trying to do, make sense of what that might be so that you are not moving into spaces that you don't want to move into, or eliciting responses that you don't want to elicit. But if it was putting the feet on the tummy, which I didn't answer, and I'm really sorry, I would be inclined to go, okay, what else would you want to put on your tummy instead of my feet? A cat, a dog, a pillow, a rock, a hand. Put your own hand on your tummy. What's it like if you don't put your hand on the tummy? Does it still work the same? So that there's a distinction and a connection between what's happening for the person, and you're also making a space then with what you are. Sorry, my dog just barked. Making a space with what you're not wanting to elicit. So you're kind of pointing it out without pointing it out. So you're not making a big deal of it, but it's like, okay, that's happening. So how else can we mix it up? And then you're defining yourself, and you're defining your boundaries as well, so that doesn't become something that is part of the game. And it depends. There's all sorts of other aspects to this in terms of the dynamics, family dynamics. I'm not suggesting this in any way, by the way, from this person. They clearly have awesome boundaries, and these are just things that happen and they're normal. But where it leads my brain to start thinking is we don't often, when we're talking about disability or people who are kind of kept away from the world because they can't engage well, and I'm not going down the road of whose fault that is, if it's the social or blah 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 blah. But if you have young people who don't have a sexual life, these things can intersect in ways, and so we need to be very mindful of all of that. And then for me, mindful of the fact that people don't have a sexual life, and it's really important as well. So how do we look at that? How do we think about that? How do we address that? And there's some people doing some pretty good work in this area, and I think it's vital. So I'm just touching on that there, and if that's an interesting topic to explore, let me know, and I'll dig out some stuff to share. But I think because people are shut down, we assume they don't need a sexual life, and they don't necessarily know how to have one, and their body can't take stimulation. But there's a human being in there who has a sexual system. So with this work, you can come up against that, and then the body will just inadvertently, as this lady's suggesting, present that at times, and so we meander around it enough, and then sometimes you can call it as well if it happens a lot. It's like, oh, do you notice that this is happening? It depends on the relationship. It depends on so many things, so that you get it right and you're not shaming people, and then you're not progressing a trajectory that you don't want to progress as well. So again, there's just a delicacy and a way of working that's highly attuned, highly purposeful, highly respectful, and it's not one size fits all. It never, ever, ever is. And even as I said at the beginning of this talk, you know, the person that I was working with very briefly this morning could do this stuff at the beginning of this year, and now is it can't be accessed. But interestingly, his body knew it, and so it actually picked up a little. So I'll be really interested to see how he is next week. So I hope that was useful. I hope it's okay not to do the live call, but at least I've yapped on a little bit, and I will have a look at this before I post it and see if it sounds any good and if it's worth your time. And yeah, if you haven't enrolled in the 6-week course, please do. It's this good, and it will show you how, and it will show you the exercises, and give you a really good taste for how to start proceeding with this work. And as you can tell, the subtlety of the psychology of it, the social engagement of it are subtle and appropriate, and they're everything. And then the exercises allow us to actually mobilize the body from a point of great care. So, au revoir. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T. Express, working with autism, ADHD, and ID. In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my ART therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD, and ID. I really hope you can join me. This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the ART Express, working with autism, ADHD, and ID. In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my ART therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD, and ID. I really hope you can join me. This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T. Express, working with autism, ADHD and ID.
In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my A.R.T. therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD and ID. I really hope you can join me.
This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T. Express, working with autism, ADHD and ID.
In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my A.R.T. therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD and ID. I really hope you can join me.
This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T. Express, working with autism, ADHD and ID.
In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my A.R.T. therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD and ID. I really hope you can join me.
This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T. Express, working with autism, ADHD and ID.
In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my A.R.T. therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD and ID. I really hope you can join me.
This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T. Express, working with autism, ADHD and ID.
In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my A.R.T. therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD and ID. I really hope you can join me.
This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T Express, working with autism, ADHD and ID. In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my A.R.T therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD and ID. I really hope you can join me. This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T Express, working with autism, ADHD and ID. In this 6-week program, you will learn how to not work from a fix-it model, how to work with neurodivergence, how to work safely with the body. I will teach you 2 tools that I use in my A.R.T therapy practice to bring the body into a softer state. And this is a vastly different program to anything else you will have done in the realm of autism, ADHD and ID. I really hope you can join me. This is for parents, teachers, allied health practitioners, as well as teens and adults on the spectrum, and it's relevant for anyone who experiences anxiety. Come and join me. I think you'll be glad you did. Do you fail at breathing and meditation techniques? Do you suffer from anxiety? Have autism or ADHD? My name is Holly Bridges. This is my 6-week course, the A.R.T Express, working with autism, ADHD and ID. In this 6-week program, you will learn